In this series, we are touring the UK and Ireland, looking for the energy solutions of the future. Is there a sustainable energy solution to our energy needs? We meet some prominent individuals and companies spearheading development of sustainable energy, and we ask them, how will the world make the transition? When will it happen? Are we there yet? Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Laura Sandis, who is the chair of the UK government's Energy Data and Digitalisation Task Force. Welcome to Future Models, Laura.
Lovely to be here.
I would like to start by asking you a bit more about yourself and also to know what is your work around low carbon energy transition.
So I've been very much involved in climate change for many, almost decades, I suppose now. And really looked at the whole energy sector as being the most crucial to decarbonise our economy. After quite a few years looking at some of the challenges that we had, there were some key components that were absolutely crucial for us to decarbonise. And one of the most important was the digitalisation of the energy system, bringing together all the different assets and actions that we're going to have on this extraordinary and new system to ensure that we actually have the right policy framework, the right technical framework, and the right skills and capabilities.
Brilliant. And so we're talking about going towards more sustainable energy. And I think in particular in energy demand, there's a real need for the right skills. So what can you tell us about this?
So I think the energy sector has been a bit like a hose pipe. It's been very much supply driven. As we look to the future, actually, and even not the future, the future is today, we have got more and more assets on the electricity system that makes it very, very much more complex. And those are demand side assets. So if you think by 2035, we will have the equivalent EV cars on the system, they will be equivalent to 3 nuclear power stations. So how do we unlock these assets? How do we, in many ways, do what electricity really should do, which is regard demand and supply equally? And the demand side is the big challenge. And so we need different skills. We need different approaches. We certainly need a very, very important digital component. And we need markets as well to unlock that demand, which is going to make the big difference through the optimization of the energy system.
Do you have any concrete examples or of companies you've been working with or regulators that have told you about this need for a change in the skill set required?
I don't think this is necessarily coming directly from government. I think it's coming from outside voices, explaining that digital skills are going to be very important. The problem with the energy sector, it's a wonderful sector full of fantastic engineers and economists. And when engineers and economists meet a digital native, there is a real conflict of understanding. There is a different language that they're speaking. And so there's an education job to do for, in many ways, the incumbent group of people within the energy sector. And to be frank, the energy sector has got to look a lot more exciting to the digital natives, to those people who are absolutely digital first. So we still have quite a big gap that we need to fill.
Fantastic. Exciting.
Very exciting.
So if I follow this thread, what do you think is preventing us from going faster into this low carbon energy transition?
Well, across the whole board, I think that what we've got to do, there are probably about 3 or 4 gaps that exist. One of them is the storage component of the renewable sector. So at the moment, what we're trying to do is we're trying to squeeze a renewable sector into the paradigm of a fossil fuel sector and expect renewables to act in the same way. They won't. Now, I actually think renewables and how we look at that is very similar to the food sector. So if you go back before we had refrigeration in food, we lost 60% of food. Right? We're doing the same at the moment with our renewables assets. So we need refrigeration, storage, right the way through the system. Now, in the food system, the most important component of storage is the fridge in your home. Because if you didn't have a fridge in your home, supermarkets would have to be 3-4 times bigger. Now, if you think about that in the energy sector, we need to have storage that sits right the way through the system. The second is actually the demand side, that consumer-facing product. So we need to decarbonise our heat, we need to decarbonise our transport, etc. So that is a very, very big, and it's a very different thing for the energy sector to get their heads around marketing, because marketing and consumers is not their natural environment. And then the third is what I've already discussed, and that is the digital underpinning. It's almost like the digital plumbing that allows the system to work. So we've done really well on generation. We are absolutely focusing on grid improvements, but it's the storage, demand, and digital that needs to be super addressed.
Thank you very much, Laura. I think we are on a wonderful and exciting path, and there's much to go ahead, and really important that you talked about the skills and the energy demand transformation needed. So thank you very much.
Thank you.